Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another powerful episode of the Empower Her Experience podcast. I'm your host, Christy Copeland, and today, y'all, we're going to dive into a topic that's often left unspoken, but is deeply necessary. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Right. And while our platform generally focuses on women, we know that healing is holistic, right? So our brothers, our sons, our husbands, our fathers, and our friends, they need a space to be seen and to be heard, not fixed, but understood. So today's episode is called Sis, He's Silent, but He's Not Okay. And trust me, this one's going to stretch all of us. Joining me for this honest conversation today, y'all, I'm really excited about this, are two men who I respect deeply, and they need no introduction. We have the Darrius Harris, who is not just my brother, but he's also my friend, and he's an advocate for men. And then we have my sweetheart, Pastor Copeland, who's going to be with us as well this morning. He's been here before, and so I'm excited to have these men, and I'm going to bring them in at this time. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How y'all doing this morning?
Doing great.
All right, good. So we're about to get into a very transparent and healing conversation today about the silent battles that men face, and they face these silent battles behind the scenes, and a lot of times they feel like they're facing them alone. And so, ladies, this episode is gonna challenge how we show up for these men, and then men, this is gonna be your invitation to heal, to speak, to feel, and to be whole. So, all right, Darrius and Terrell, were you ever given the impression that emotions were something to hide or to silence? I'm going to ask you first, Darrius.
I would say I wasn't definitely given the impression that it was okay. It was more or less, you kind of suck it up, tough it up, you'll be all right. And I think it was maybe not purposely done. It's just the way it was, as a man growing up, you hurt yourself, you good, get up. And I think it was somewhat frowned upon, I would say, if you had any kind of emotional, I would say, issues as a man. Real briefly, I was reminded when I was, I think, 13 years old, it was this basketball player, and he says it openly, so I don't mind saying his name. His name was Kendall Gill, and he was out. He couldn't play basketball in the prime of his career. He said he was clinically depressed. I said, what is that? Me not knowing, me being 13 at the time, like, what is that? I'm like, oh, man, he just don't want to play ball. Why are you clinically depressed? You're a millionaire, prime of your career. You're a pretty good ball player. He's supposed to be, everyone's supposed to be next Michael Jordan, but he's, he has that kind of skill set, and he clinically depressed. I didn't know what it was. I didn't have any sympathy or empathy. I feel so bad now, but I was just 13. But, little did I know, as you kind of get older, you just thought, I would say, adulting, I don't care what status you are, just an adult alone. Depression, oppression, anxieties, things can find a way to get to you no matter how much money you have and whatnot. And to me, it just didn't make sense because I never heard of that, clinically depressed. But that's all I have to say.
Yeah, and that's good, because a lot of people don't know that that's a thing that some people can't even help, because generally when people in our society hear depression, they automatically think sad. And so I know in my field, when I tell someone, you're depressed, and they'll say, no, I'm not depressed, because they're not sad. But clinical depression and depression itself, there are signs that are go beyond just sadness. chronic fatigue, sleep disturbance, appetite disturbance, passive suicidal thoughts where they feel like if I didn't wake up tomorrow, I would be okay. And it can be a chronic, no matter what's going on in your life, it can be at the peak, the height of your career, or have all this money, and you still have this feeling of sadness or this feeling of emptiness and loneliness and not wanting to do anything. So thank you for sharing that and being transparent. And I want to say you didn't know.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I was so mean though. I'm like, man, this is weak. He don't want to play no ball. I was mean. I'm like, man, come on. Because I wanted that team to beat another team. So I just wanted him to perform. Like, man, get out there and perform. Y'all need to beat the Bulls. Y'all gonna lose. So I don't care what it is, suck it up. So I was tough.
And that's how most men are. That's how most men are. And that's why we're having this conversation. So Terrell, I have the same question for you. When you were growing up, did you get any comments or any thoughts about how a man should hide their emotions or silence their emotions?
Like when we came up as my good friend Darrius said, we were taught as coming all the way up, to be tough, never show any type of emotion. That's just what men or young boys were taught from the very beginning. And when you do show some type of emotion, it's considered, weakness. And so with that, I definitely experienced that. And knowing that, hey, there are going to be times that I may be going through something when I was younger, but at the same time, I had to realize I got to toughen this up. Man ain't supposed to show no type of strength. Young man ain't supposed to show this. And so as Darrius was saying, far as we didn't know that. When we wasn't, depending on where you came up, where you grew up at, you just was not knowing anything about mental health for men, for young boys. That just was not talked about in our community. It wasn't talked about it at home. It wasn't talked about in the streets, hanging out with the homies or whatever. We just didn't discuss those type of things. So when it came on the scene, we knew nothing about that. And if it was, we were thinking, hey, something must be, wrong with them or crazy for them to go see a therapist or something like that, because that was unheard of for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I myself, I was told that only weak people cry.
That's right.
And so I remember I grew up as a kid who didn't cry. And there were a lot of things that I had that happened to me that I should have cried, but I didn't cry because I kept hearing in my mind, weak people cry, and so I did that all the way up through, I have to say through until I became an adult, that I really didn't cry. And, but what happened was I had all that those things stuffed like a tissue box. When something happened, I would just stuff it. Something happened, I just stuff it. Why? Because weak people cry. Weak people show emotion. And that really was more of a detriment to me, because crying is actually therapeutic. It's a release. It's a spiritual thing. God gave us the ability to cry for a reason. So, so it's okay to cry. It's okay to show and to feel, right? So, so you guys, what I've learned over the years as well is that men tend to mask their pain differently than women, because while both men and women experience pain, men often express it, their pain through like their behaviors. They mask being vulnerable because in the culturally speaking, as y'all been talking about, men are expected to be masculine. So share with the ladies who are watching today, what are some of the ways that men commonly mask their pain?
Well, I would say this is a very great statement and a great question that you asked. I think men can mask it in their muscles, or they can mask it in burying themselves in work, or they can mask it in trying to fix the woman instead of really trying to fix yourself. And reversely, I think what happens, instead of like women, they explode, men implode. Like,
that's good.
And men can explode, but after they explode, they already imploded. They already have been torn internally. Then it's an explosion, then really acting, to the whole 10th power. And so I would say women are much wiser as far as seeking out help. So women, they're smarter. They know when the load is too heavy, and sometimes men just, I don't know, for some reason, we don't know. We try to mask it and say we good. And just because a man say he's good don't really mean he's good. Because men are lie all day. We're lied to ourselves.
Yeah.
We'll be a hypocrite. It's a Greek word to hypocrite. Actor. We act. And the Greek word to actor is hypocrite.
Listen, some of y'all deserve an Oscar for saying y'all all right.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. That's how we are.
I'm good. Now you ain't good. You crying for you, and we don't see why you crying. You're not good.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Yes. All right, Terrell, how do you see that men mask their pain differently than women?
By laughing it off. Some of us as men, we laugh it off instead of actually showing the emotion. We hide it through comedy, being just laughing all the time, or we might even disappear and go off to the side and isolate ourselves.
That's good.
We might stay in the room and watch TV, or we don't come out. We might go and go outside and mow the yard and stay outside for a while and just hide it that way. And sometimes we just bury it all together, bury our feelings, show no emotion. So we just numb, basically. We just sit there, and we could be in a blank stare sometimes and never show no type of emotion.
Wow.
And then to speak on what my brother was saying about the silence, we call that silence language. That's what we call it, silence language. Living in silence. That's what we don't show no emotion. We're just numb to everything, and so that's why we call it silence language. Okay. That is our language, silence.
Okay.
That's our language is silence.
That's good. That's the language, silence.
Okay. All right, silent language. I hadn't heard that one before. That's a good one. So, but I know another way that men tend to mask their pain differently than women is by overworking.
Yeah.
Like some of them, they'll work all day. They'll take extra shifts, work overtime to avoid being at home, and so they throw themselves into work, or they throw themselves into sports and projects and fixing things so that they can be distracted, from any type of emotional reflection, because their productivity becomes their shield, right? it masks all of those things, and so those are good. And another one that I want to say that I've noticed that men mask their pain through dominance.
There you go.
And control, like a desire to control situations or people. That can be a mask for the internal conflict and chaos that's going on. Appearing like they're confident and dominant, that may be a way of showing emotional confusion. Sometimes that's out of fear. Fear of being vulnerable and fear of rejection. So I'm going to appear one way. I'm going to appear confident, but underneath there is a fear of rejection and a fear of being vulnerable.
Yeah,
that's good.
And so, and then and the other thing, like speaking on that, I want to say something briefly about us women, and more of us women are the opposite. So we're often encouraged to express our emotions more openly. This is why female pain, we cry. We're going to talk it out with friends. We're going to seek therapy. We'll get with our friends and have a wind down night, a girls' night out. We'll have lunches, to meet and talk through things. And I know I live for those lunches with my girls, with my friends, because it's like one big therapy session. I know me and my sis, Pastor Harris, your wife.
Yeah.
Me and my sis, we can sit and talk for hours. And
that's true.
And that's just, oh, you said that's true.
No, that's a good way.
Don't you do that. But yes, we can sit and talk for hours. And when I leave, I feel so much better because we've got an opportunity to talk about some things, to talk some things out, to bounce some things off each other. And she'll tell me, because one of the things that people need is accountability when it comes to that. It's be like, sis, no. And I'll tell her, nope, no. And we kind of laugh about it. So, but that's the difference. Women are encouraged to be emotionally expressive, and then they're sometimes expected to be, while the men might just shut down, or they might lash out or overcompensate by doing other things because they don't want to appear weak. And so some may ask, why are we talking about this? Why does this matter? And to that, I say, because it's important for us to talk about this. This is rarely spoken about. And if we misunderstand how men express their pain, then we'll mislabel their symptoms.
Yep.
And we'll miss their cry for help. Recognizing the mask allows us to meet them from a place of empathy, ladies, instead of judgment, which happens a lot. And so for listeners, especially the women, this is the key, because many men were never taught the language of emotion. So when he stopped talking, he didn't stop talking to hurt you. He stopped talking because he didn't know how to put a language to it.
That's good.
Somewhere he was taught that silence was safer than vulnerability. So for the ladies who are listening right now, guys, we're going to talk about what support looks like when it comes to showing up for the men in our lives. So let's talk to the women now, guys. We often want the men in our lives to just open up. Just tell me what's going on. But y'all done heard it before. I know mine has. But how does it make you guys feel when we want y'all to just, what is it? Just tell me what's going on. Like, you need to tell me. What does it feel like for you to hear that? Darrius, I want to start with you.
Yes, I do want to ask, are we on live, Facebook Live?
We should be. It says we are. Can you see?
Okay, I didn't see it on my end. No big deal. It's probably my page is just, I would say, I like how you said it, and I think you have to be tactful the way you ask men. You don't want to come off like, just tell me everything. What you going through? How was your work? I think you have to start almost like encouraging. Like, you know what? I know you do a lot. You handle a lot of responsibilities. It's a lot of weight on your shoulder. Maybe rub your shoulder at the same time. You do your best to try to be responsible. And even the strongest man can, get weak at times, or just dealing with situations, advice, tools of life. And maybe, you can be going through some things too, because I always talk about me and what I'm going through. You're going to hear it from somebody had the same dress I had at work, and she's trying to obliterate me. She's trying to take me out. She's against me. I can tell how she rolls her eyes at me. So let me just not, talk about me as much. And let's, how's it going with you? And kind of be tactful, and maybe start with something small. It might be something small that you might want to share that can be bothering you at your job. And at least you'll get the man start to open it up. Then you can build trust. Then something small can morph into maybe some bigger conversations. So I'm thinking that can work like a way to be tactful. I could be wrong. That's what I'm thinking of.
That's good. That's good. That's great. Thank you. So y'all get those, y'all get those. We'll come and tell y'all in a minute. Like, a lot of times you don't have to really wonder what's going on with us. So we're gonna make sure we, because we got to get it out. So yes. So Terrell, how do you You tell me what that makes you feel like, because I know I've said it to you before. Like, what's going on? And you're like, oh, I'm fine. No, what's going on? And then me, I'm not gonna pry, because if I ask you once or twice and you don't tell me, I'm gonna give you your space until you're ready to talk. So you tell me what that feels like for you.
Well, actually, as we were saying, just give us that space to break free from it for a minute in our minds, because a lot of times if we're bum rushed with, what's going on with you today? You're not yourself today. We need that moment, just to unwind and say, hey, within ourselves, thinking, hey, I need to come back to reality. Whatever happened on the job or whatever happened outside, once I'm in, I just need to unwind just for a moment before I'm asked, and give us that room, give us that space. And not only that, but also read our posture, read our language. Our body has a language, so read what we're doing at that time. If we're off, isolated, right then, that's not them. Because normally if I'm coming through the door and I'm always talkative, and then I'm not that day, you could tell by my body posture that, hey, something's a little off. And so that breathing room speaks a lot more. And just come in and try, because you're not going to be able to fix it, but you can be able to be a listening ear. So
yeah. And you know what? And sometimes it can feel like pressure.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's a spotlight being put on the wound that you haven't even acknowledged yet.
Exactly.
Like some women, they come with good intentions and ask the person, like, what's wrong with you? And what's wrong with you sends the wrong message, especially when someone's dealing with something, because you're basically telling them that there is something wrong with them. And yet they're already dealing with some type of issue. So instead of what's wrong with you, I'm here when you're ready to talk.
There you go.
And because what a lot of times I'm discovering is that what men need is your presence, not the pressure to talk.
That's good. Presence, not the pressure.
Yeah. So when a woman listens without trying to fix them or probe them, then that makes them want to talk. But when they feel judged or when they feel interrogated, they retreat even more, and you won't get anything out of them. Am I right, guys?
That's right. I like how you say that, fixing versus just being present and just feeling what's going on.
Yes, because y'all don't want us to fix it all the time. Y'all just want us to hear that. So sis, did you catch that? Sis, did you catch that? Yeah. Sometimes you don't need to say much. You need to just be there. Like, you need to offer safety, not solutions. They don't always want you to fix it. I don't always want suggestions, because let's face it, men, y'all know we love to give suggestions.
Yeah.
But ladies, we have to let these men come to the door instead of us trying to kick the door in. Okay? So, just talk to them. Just talk to me. Just tell me what's going on. It doesn't always work, because it feels like pressure, not permission. And so we don't want to make them feel cornered. We want to give them a space to land. We want to just be there. And another thing that I notice is that men are often taught not to burden others.
Yeah, that's true.
So he may feel like opening up is going to make him look weak or cause disappointment or burden you with his problem. So just saying talk to me may unintentionally like heighten that fear or make him shut down even more, because he doesn't want to be a burden. And so vulnerability, it's a process for these men. It can't be a command. So without like consistent signals that you can send that you're an emotionally safe place, or a place of encouragement, or a place of trust, then just talk to me. It's gonna feel like emotional exposure with no safety net.
With no safety. That's good. Emotional exposure. That's very powerful.
Yeah, because the truth is, men don't open up when they're asked. They open up when they feel safe.
That's right. That's right. That's good.
So that's some ladies. I hope you're listening. So so guys, I want to turn a corner here. And I want to ask you, what are some of the things that women do unintentionally that may shut down men when they're trying to express their feelings or cause them to shut down? I'm gonna start with you, Darrius.
Oh, that's a good question. I was gonna defer to my brother, but unintentionally, I would say, to keep it short, kind of like what I said earlier, kind of be more enwrapped, I would say, in their own emotions, because, like, for sure, we know women deal with a lot more physically, emotionally, and I thank God that I'm not a woman. I really do. Every day I get up, I'm like, Lord, thank you for letting me be part of the male species, because they deal with a lot, menopause, man on pause, and men deal with andropause. And you can kind of minimize what he might be going through and feel like he don't got to do nothing. You don't got to deal with that. You don't got to deal with certain time of the month. You don't got to deal with all these emotions, estrogen levels. You don't got to deal with none of that.
Come on.
I think it can kind of be minimizing what he does carry, or what he do, what he do experience, and you can kind of unknowingly sweep it under the table, or just take the notion that he's strong because he acted strong. Because men can have the appearance of a strong exterior when internally we just might be as weak as you. I don't even use the word weakness. That might not be a good word, but vulnerable just as you. Yeah. And it can be masked in just the appearance of being strong. And women, on the other hand, can have the appearance outwardly of seeming as weaker than us, but inwardly, because they know how to vent properly and have those friends and those relationships that, they can really get that help, that strength, that counseling, whether it's counseling or friendship, relationships. And internally, we just don't, we don't trust. And I think really letting the man know, it's okay to trust other men friends, get counseling, get help, and not just be focused on what you're going through. Although I know it's a level 100 versus our level 50, but that level 50 still can be, it's still, and this sounds a little sarcastic, it still can be detrimental if we don't know how to get it out.
Look here, you own it today. You own it today, but I gotta commend you. Listen, I wanted to clap and give you a standing ovation for acknowledging the things that as women that we deal with. Because when I tell you it's real out here, it's real. Like you said, the menopause, and we have something that a lot of us women just found out about here recently, the perimenopause. So it comes with a lot of different symptoms, and it comes with the mood changes, and and the body changes, and the sleep disturbance. I know my sleep's been off for about the last 2-3 years, and I'm like, okay, can we get this sleep regulated? The more I try, it seems like the worse that it gets. And so I'm like a vampire. I know my husband
and get no rest.
Yes. All right, so Terrell, come on. It's the question's on you now.
Yeah, no. Okay, so basically, don't want to feel judged. Yeah, don't want to feel judged. Or when we do speak, basically don't seem like we're too soft. You know how sometimes we come across, you sound a little too soft with that. Well, that's why most men don't open up and be that vulnerable, because it can come across as being too soft, a sign of weakness. So we don't want to feel judged. We don't want to feel judged about it. We just want to be able to get it out and be heard. And so sometimes women unintentionally, they will judge the comment and say, oh, that's nothing. That's something small. You should be able to get over that.
Good.
When you sick, when men sick, there's been my brother. There's been a myth on men about he's so strong, then why is he crying like a baby? And really,
Can't handle the call.
That's just the saying. But in the room, they don't know, and we know females' tolerance for pain is totally different from a male's tolerance for pain.
Right.
So they think we ought to just be up bouncing around, but we not normally get sick like that sometimes.
That's right.
Because females, like you say, Brother Darrius, from a monthly standpoint, they deal with so much of that through monthly or whatever, or it could be different type of pains. But a male, we don't carry that. We don't go through that weight. So
no, sir,
we just it hit us like a ton of bricks.
Now, y'all can hold on a minute. So y'all gotta admit, when y'all sick, y'all act like y'all dying. You can have a cold, be sneezing and coughing, and you over the balled up in the fetal position, act like you just about to go up out of here. And us women, we just keep on going. We coughing, we sneezing, but guess what? Y'all still gotta eat the kids.
Yeah, no doubt.
I gotta cut us some slack on that one, because y'all do the most when you sick. I know you do, Terrell.
Hey, I do. I'm gonna go on and admit it. I do. When I'm sick, I'm sick.
There's one time he said, "Can I have a bell?" I said, "If you ring that bell, I'm gonna do like that."
Oh Lord, he watching Martin.
I'm gonna get me a hammer and I'm going
a bell.
A bell. I said, "You better go to sleep." Sleep it off.
A bell.
Yes, but that's good. That's good. I like that. Not judging, not making you feel small. And I know one that would drive my husband crazy. We didn't know at the time what was happening, but interrupting before he can get 2 or 3 words out, I'm already saying something, and he'd be like, "Okay, can I finish?" And I'll be like, "Look, okay, you can finish," and then he say a few more words, and I'm ready to jump in again. And so that constant interrupting too can cause men, shut down. And come to find out, it was ADHD. Okay, so I'm working on it. Take my medicine, work on it. But and sometimes women, we can correct their feelings. Now listen, one thing that I want people to understand, men and women, we can't tell somebody how to feel. Yeah. We cannot tell anyone how to feel. Why? We can't tell them how they're feeling or correct their feelings. We don't know. So saying things like, "You shouldn't feel that way," or "You're being too sensitive," or like my husband said, that can make a man feel dismissed, even if your intent is to help. And this is one. Woo, this is a big one. I don't really do too much of this one. Terrell, you can speak to this one. But asking too many probing questions too soon. Like, he don't want to get anything out, and it's like he feels like he's sitting in with the FBI and being interrogated.
Interrogation.
Like digging way too deep before you can even get a good sentence out of your mouth. So it feels like interrogation and not intimacy. So trying, and this can be in the form of us, like we said earlier, trying to fix them instead of listening. Sometimes men just want to be heard. They don't want to be analyzed or given solutions, as we said, or they don't want us jumping into fix it mode, because then that can feel like we're trying to control them. Not that we care, but trying to control.
And then can I add to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Also the feeling of, from a male's perspective, when the female handles it, it kind of makes us feel like, okay, we're the man, we should be stepping up. And then when y'all handle it, or want to take on charge of it before we're able to, it starts making us feel just a little bit on the inside, like, okay, this, I should be handling this. Instead, it starts making me feel just a little bit smaller. It can make men feel like that. But that's just the appearance. We know that. But that says to us, okay, I feel like I'm the man, I should be stepping up and handling this. and then it bothers me when I can't, when I'm in a position of going through something, or whether it's sickness, whether it's physical or mental, and I can't do something about it. It makes me feel like I'm not in control of the situation. It starts making me feel less of a man. That's the way we've been taught, been raised coming up. It makes us feel less as a man when we don't handle it.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
good.
You got something to say on that one, brother?
Just to echo his statements, everything you guys have said has been great. Like you said, sometimes you can feel minuscule or small because certain things you can't do, or you might be in a financial, I would say, a conundrum or a crunch. And when men going through financially, they are going through emotionally as well. Don't let them lie to you. People act like they ain't about finances, but why you work 40, 50 hours? So you do care about money. You weren't working that much overtime. When a man's going through financially where you can't provide the necessities, I think that can be another trigger, that you can be going through emotionally, and you need somebody to talk to, help, counseling. It's something I like to say, was something I kind of came up with. I think people need bill counseling.
Ooh.
What do you mean by bill counseling? I mean, like, them bills gonna come every time of the month. I don't care how much you get ahead. Even if you can pay them, you got to be conditioned to always know, I thought I just paid that bill. I thought I just paid that bill, and it's gonna come back again. If you ain't conditioned for that, you can go through some stuff.
Right.
So, but yeah, I would say, especially when men going through financial, they are going through. I can testify. Financial was rocky. You feel like you're inadequate. You can't help out, or sickness strike your body. You can't do what you normally want to do. Yeah. It has to weigh on your psyche or your emotion. And although you can be like, it's okay. Well, I know we just going through a little tough spot. Still, he's not okay. Although you saying he's okay, it's not something small it's not anything light, I would say.
Right. And I'm glad you brought that up. You said something that caught my ear there. You said he's not able to do the things that he used to do. And I would say this happens a lot. I'm so glad you brought that up, especially when there's like a health issue or a chronic condition and things like that. And these men are not able to perform the way that they used to. They've been used to this, especially with older men, they all their lives they've been working and they've been able to do this and do that, and then age starts to set in and things like that, and it starts to make them feel, sometimes they can start to feel worthless, or it can damage their self-esteem and make some of them resentful and angry because they're not able to do what they used to do. And a lot of times women can, like I said earlier, mislabel their symptoms and not understand that this is something that they can't help, and they are responding to it in the way that they know how to respond. Even though it may not be the way that's acceptable to them.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it weighs in on as my brother was saying, the psyche of us. It weighs on our mental. Like if a man can't do what he normally used to do, if that's even going out changing a battery and he gets tired now from going out working on the car and he can't do like he used to, it bothers us, and we don't know how to express that because we're so used to holding everything in.
Yeah.
And so it'll bother us to even if we like go outside the mow the yard and we can't mow it like we used to, because of health issue. It bothers us though. When female asks us, can you go wash the car, and they don't know. Sometimes, I'm just making an example, sometimes they can't wash the car like they used to because of the pressure points on their knees or something. It bothers them to not be able to do it. And then they don't know how to tell you, look, I'm not healthy wise right now. And you're wondering, well, why aren't you washing the car today? Why are you not out there mowing the yard? And they don't know how to express, hey, I'm going through it right now. Can we figure this out? We may have to pay somebody to come fix it. You know what I'm saying? And then that bothers us even more that we got to pay somebody to come.
Yeah. You used to do it for free.
That bothers us even more. Hey, now we got to pay somebody.
Yeah, and y'all are right. And I'm this is really a good conversation. I know I'm gonna have to have both of y'all on here again if I talk some more about some of the issues that men face. I really love this, and I know we're gonna help some people today. And I want to talk about one of these that I get a lot in counseling too, is when the women bring up their past failures or the things that they used to do, constantly bringing that up or using his words against him later. So like if he shared something in a vulnerable space with you and then later it's weaponized and used against him, even in frustration, it tells him, I cannot trust this space.
That's right.
This is not a safe space for me. Even though you are his woman, even though you might be his wife or his lady, whatever, this is not a safe space for me. And it will cause complete shutdown. And so they need a space where they can be vulnerable that feels safe. So now I want to help a sister out, y'all. I want to help a sister out today. We want to. What's going on here? Is that me?
I'm sorry, that's on my end. My apologies.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was me. Because I'm still new to this technology, and I just discovered somehow my settings got changed on Facebook, and this is only streaming on my page. I don't know how that happened, but
that's no problem. That's all good. We just share the link.
Yeah, and I'm gonna also let it stream after this. But I want to help a sister out today because we want to equip women with the tools, and we want to equip men and women with the tools for healthy relationships. And the key to healthy relationships is healthy communication. Yeah. So, because I found that a lot of times the infidelity on both parts, men and women, happens when they're not able to talk. There's poor communication in the relationship, and a lot of times it starts with emotional cheating.
No, that's good.
And that's not. I'm not giving anybody
you getting deep now.
Excuse. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. But I want to say a lot of times when a man feels like he can't talk to the lady in his life, he can find somebody he can talk to.
And work why.
And a lot of times that listening ear is not a caring heart. It's some Delilahs out there. It's some
all right.
So and they're just waiting. All they need is that ear. She not listening to me at home. Oh, well, what's going on? Tell me all about it. And now, you
that's right. That's real talk.
Brother, you laughing. Yeah, I know y'all got something to say about that. Y'all to jump in. I know y'all got something to say. Cause you laughing, Darrius.
No, I'm just agreeing. Well, you were right. Emotional infidelity, that's how it starts. It starts with those emotions, those private conversations that the other, spouse do not know about, because a need is getting fulfilled because that wife, you feel like she don't want to listen to you, and it's like you say, it's no excuse whatsoever, and you got to be careful because Delilah, I break it down, it's the lie. It's a lie. And it's okay to seek rest, but you got to be sure that you need to seek some rest and some help from some men, because your head gonna be in the wrong lap.
Right.
When your head be in the wrong lap, you're gonna twist your head. The family gonna be sabotaged. You gonna think you in love, and when she get hurt, she gonna expose you.
Yep, you're right. Yep. Right. And then I'm glad you say you think you in love. You're not in love. You just found a vulnerable space.
Mm-hmm.
You found a place that you feel safe, and sometimes because they're in a vulnerable space, they can mistake that, because we talked about earlier, they don't have that language of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So what feels like in love is just, I found a place where I feel safe. But that's good. I love that, laying your head in the wrong lap. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm about to use that one. Terrell, you got something to say about that?
Well, basically, my brother he hit it right on the head with that. To add to that, is we have to be careful when as males going through this, that we don't get connected with the wrong person.
That's good.
Yeah, with the wrong person, because when we're going through something, we may tell the wrong person, and then the wrong person exposes us. They got all of the ammunition that they need when we're going through it, and we're looking just for a safe spot to talk and not realize we putting everything out there. And when we put everything out there, that's why you got to be careful what you share and who you share it to. And so I think you got to have a great support system like that. And so far as that, as the female, and I'm getting off of it right quick, we need that person to be a listening ear instead of being able to overtalk us. Can you hear me? I'm fading.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's good, man. Yes, sir.
And when we're being overtalked, that's where we start feeling like we're not heard. And then what happens? Men on the job start talking to different people, different women and stuff, and here it comes. There's that exposure. There it is. They start talking, well, what you been going through? Why you so down? Well, I'm at home. I'm going through something. And then they looking like, okay, well, let's talk. And then you find yourself, if you're not careful, doing more talking to them than your girlfriend or your spouse.
Ooh, wait a minute.
You got to start it.
What? Say that again.
Too much talking. And so then what happens as a friendly conversation?
Say that sentence again. They doing more what?
Too much conversation.
They doing more talking to the other person.
That's it. Then they do with their
real talk.
Yeah, we're doing now. We're gonna be transparent. That's where we at. And so, and that causes problems, because before you know it, you're having more and more conversations. That's how it starts out small, and then it explodes into something greater. And before you know it, your whole emotional well-being is in somebody else's hands or in somebody else's lap. Like
yes,
the
lie. That's right.
The wrong lap. She's soaking it all up. And then before you know it, I can do what she can't do.
Uh-huh.
I can say what she can't say. I know everything that makes him feel great.
Because he done told her. Okay.
He done told her.
He done told her. So, but so that, thank y'all for doing that. Y'all, we just helped some people. You know that? We just helped some people right there. I know we're gonna save some relationships just with that right there. So, let's talk about what it looks like and what it feels like when a woman creates a safe space for the men in her life. What are some of the things that we can do as women to create safe space for you guys?
I would say really encourage, like if that man don't have any friends, I think that's a red flag. Like you got to encourage relationships, because men, it's hard for us to trust.
You sure right.
Like we, you got to be sure like this man, like you need somebody like other than outside of myself that you can talk to. And eventually, at least he's talking, then eventually he'll converse and talk to you like a safe place.
Yeah. Well, I want to say there, what happens when, you tell him, you need to get some friends. You need to, and he said, I don't want no friends. I got you.
Well, I mean, he gonna like I say like this reversely. A woman gonna need more than that man, because that man cannot handle all her issues. There's no way possible.
Wait,
I don't mean like that, not like that, not like that. But he cannot do it. Like they can't. We don't have the capacity, because we're gonna be trying to fix it. It's gonna be something simple, and you be like, I don't want you to fix it. I just want you to listen. Sometimes a man needs to talk to another man. A woman needs to talk to another woman, because we are compatible in certain areas. Then it's time you need to talk to each other. So I would encourage him, join. And I'm just not saying this to give ourselves kudos. That's one reason why we do Real Talk Men Talk as consistently as we do. It's a safe place, I think, where men can kind of get it out. And then we encourage them, you need to talk to your wife about this as well, you know?
Good. That's good.
Because they complain about their wife, but like, what are you doing?
Right.
Are you doing something? They don't want to hear that part. We talk about that real stuff.
Accountability. Yes.
Accountability. Then a safe place, like you said earlier. I think you and my brother Terrell Copeland said earlier. A safe place without judgment, and just to listen, and not to be so easy to just try to fix it, just to feel what he's going through, and don't like listen.
That's good.
Because women, they can talk faster. They faster. They think faster. I'm like, man, but I can't get a word in edgewise. Whatever edgewise means.
You will not do that today, Darrius.
Because see, men, we gotta process what we say, because we say the wrong thing, it's over.
Yeah.
So we be filtering what we trying to say. Like, you can just tell a man, you gotta do this, that, and the third, you gotta do this better. We just can't say that like that to you, because you're more emotional. So we gotta filter. So give him time to process what he gonna say, and he can't answer that quick like that. His tongue don't move that fast like that. So
oh, y'all are on it. I should have my sis on here too. Next time we're gonna bring her in here too.
Well, you know how me and my bro do. This how we do all the time. We like this.
I know, and I feel ganged up on the day, because y'all.
No.
I'm playing, y'all.
Yeah.
I know you everything you said is on point. And something you said that I really want to say something about is, you made the comment that when men talk to men, you said the real talk, real men, real talk, and you let them know, hey, bro, this is something you need to talk to your wife about. Because you have some men out there, well, she won't listen, and go over there and let Lucy, go talk to her, and what she ain't doing right, then go get you somebody who will listen. And those are not real friends. I got to say that.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you again. I said, and I ain't scared. Those are not your real friends.
That's right.
But if they're your real friends, they're going to encourage you to have an honest conversation with the woman in your life.
That's right.
And I know it may be hard to talk, but you know what? You can make suggestions, but we're gonna talk about that later. But I think it's important for women to allow the silence, as you were saying earlier. There's allow that silence. Let them process. Let them have their moment, and just let them know, you know what? You take your time. I know you're probably trying to process it, but I'm here whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready to talk, I'm here. And so I think that's very important, allowing them that space. And, and it makes them feel like you care, that what they're going through is bothering them. And so, giving him the space to find the words without rushing him or without demanding a response or interrogating him.
Interrogation.
Yes. We ain't got to be the FBI. So, yeah. So, and then I think another thing that we can do is validate y'all's emotions. To
validate. Yes.
I've noticed that whenever my husband's going through something that is hurting him, and I can clearly see that he's hurt, I can clearly see that he's in pain, I let him know that, you have a right to feel that way. You have a right to feel that way. And I do so without, judging him or minimizing his feelings. just from a place of empathy, because one thing about it, y'all are men and y'all are strong, but y'all are human beings too.
Right.
That's right.
So y'all are not Superman. Y'all Clark Kent.
Yeah, so Clark Kent, this Superman. You're right.
Yeah, and so to be able to acknowledge that yeah, you have a right to feel sad about that. You know, you have a right to feel hurt by that, because y'all are not machines that don't have the ability to feel. You feel just like we do.
Right.
That's right.
So, Terrell, did you want to jump in and say anything on that? What she can do?
No.
You good?
Actually, you yeah, I'm good. You actually just what I was going to say. You just said it. So
okay. Good. Well, and y'all, something else that I think is important for us to say is that she has to maintain his confidentiality.
Yeah.
Like his secrets need to stay secrets with her.
That's right.
And
not with your other friends and all of that. That it needs to stay in the vault.
Yeah.
That's right. Stay in the vault. Yes.
Yeah. Because if not, then he's not going to be able to trust you with his vulnerability and things like that. And the other thing, not using his vulnerability or his emotions as your punchlines.
Yeah.
So making fun of his pain.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes that can happen as well. And it'll cause them to shut down, because men have a sense of pride about them. You know, they don't. If they are willing to open up and be vulnerable, which is already hard for them to do.
Already hard to do.
Yes, and you make fun of it or make light of it, then you have just destroyed that space for him to come to you and talk, and then you're gonna be frustrated, wondering why he won't talk. But you need to ask yourself, was I a safe place for him to land?
That's good.
You know, and then another thing that I noticed that a woman could do is honor his boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be married. Yeah, you might be in a relationship and all of that, but you still need to honor his boundaries just like he needs to honor yours, because we're gonna make sure we enforce ours.
Yeah, me time. That's right.
Everybody respect those. And so we need to honor his boundaries as well, because if now's not the time for him to talk, respect that.
Yeah,
that's right.
And say I'm here. You know, whenever you need me, I'm here. But knowing that you're a sense of support and not control.
That's good. Yeah.
You know, offering him a consistent place to be able to come in and a soft place to land, not trying to coerce him into doing what you want him to do and telling you what you want to be told. Because at the end of the day, it's really not about you, it's about him.
Yeah.
And so y'all, this is so good. I could sit and talk to y'all all day. Y'all know we got something going on today. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I think we are really helping a sister out, and I think we're really helping some men who have found themselves struggling and feeling alone. So now I want to talk about breaking the silence. How, you know, men can break the silence. So tell me, guys, how did you get to a place in your life? Maybe you went through something that was difficult. How did you start to heal and break out of that generational silence of you just need to man up, suck it up, and keep going?
I would say briefly, just seeing other men who you feel like you can kind of see on the outside looking in, or sometimes even close. You can kind of see how it turned out for them, kind of keeping it all in and really not reaching out externally, getting the help. And then you like, you know what? I don't want to be like this. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I want to get the help. Then also, personally, I didn't want to be hypocritical. Saying I kind of, in a sense, would lead men or walk alongside men to tell them to seek out for additional help, when I don't even seek out for additional help if I'm going through or talk to a friend. So I'm like, I don't want to be hypocritical. First of all, I don't want to end up like they ended up, because they didn't know it was safe to say you need help. They didn't know. So you really can't put the blame on other generations as much. But now, it's out there in the open. It's to me, it's a form of strength because we all go through something in some area in our life that we need some help and we can't get through it on our own. It's a source of strength now. Then back in the day, as far as weakness, just kind of that, I would say that change, that shift in mentality.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I like that. That's good. Terrell, what about you?
As far as healing and breaking out of the generational silence, you got to remember, healing is not instant. It's a process.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
So it's one truth at a time. You got to deal with one truth at a time.
One truth at a time.
That's good.
Yeah. One tear at a time. You got to be able to go through each and every situation one step at a time. And breaking the cycle, you got to do the opposite. Let me give you an example. If my father never said, "I'm proud of you," now that you have children, you say, "I'm proud of you, son."
And it's good. Yeah.
I'm proud of you, daughter. Your father never took you out, to go hang out. You do the opposite now. Now we have it in our hand. That's how we can break that generational silence. Is what I wasn't exposed to. Let me do the opposite now that I have it in my hands too.
But you know what? I'm gonna turn a corner here because doing the opposite, they need to know that what they're doing or the way that things have been done is not normal.
Right. Right. And when
go ahead.
And when you once you realize that you could tell, coming up and growing up in situations that, hey, this wasn't good for me back then. But now that I realize that this is not good, I need to do something different. Yeah, I need to make a step further. That's just like for an example, like when we wasn't able to buy stuff and our parents took care of us. Now that we've grown older, we're able to take care of ourselves. And when we have children or nephews, nieces, we want the best for them. What we didn't have access to, we want the best for them. So that's the same way it is on this side of breaking that silence. In order for me to heal, I got to want the best for me. I got to be the best version of me.
That's right. Good.
And one way that I can say, because there are a lot of people, what you said is good, and there are a lot of people who grew up in households and they mimic what they saw in their household. Yeah. And one of the ways that they can tell that what they're mimicking is not the proper way to do it is when your relationships are strained.
Yeah.
If your marriage is strained, if your relationship with your kids is strained, then it's time to take a look at the methods that you're using, because you may be using the methods that your father or your mother did in the home, and that's not necessarily the method that's going to create a healthy environment or healthy relationships for you. So if you notice that your relationships are strained, maybe it's time to look at how you are handling the situations or how you are emotionally handling the situation, and what it looks like. What does your communication look like? If your relationships are strained in your life, then there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And now it's time to figure that thing out, like y'all both said, and then break the cycle, do the opposite, do something different. And so, I love y'all. I love this. And so, men, this is your invitation. We let y'all know it's okay to feel. It's okay to speak. It's okay to get help. Okay? It's okay to get help. It's okay to get therapy. That does not make you weak. I have some clients who are men, and I love it when men come in to be able to talk about what is going on with them, and they know that they have a safe place that they can come and talk to, because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but men have a higher suicide rate than women.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's because of this very thing that we're talking about, silence.
Yeah.
Because silence, yes, silence doesn't equal strength. And vulnerability is not your enemy. It's your freedom. And there are men out there who provide therapy. Therapy is not it's not for somebody to mess with your head and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It gives you a safe space just to be able to express how you're feeling when you feel like you cannot do it in the environment that you are in. So that is all therapy is. And so, oh my gosh, this is so good. I'm really gonna have to get you guys back on here for another episode. But we want to end this episode by exploring the ways that men and women can heal together, y'all. This is real talk for relationships. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you are listening. I hope you've been taking notes, because this has been such a good, informative conversation. But I want to ask both of you, how can women and men partner better in emotional healing?
Copeland, I defer to you first. You got the vernacular.
Oh,
you
man.
You got the vernacular, the know-how. You got those words, man. You come across.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna piggyback off of you.
I think having those, as we've often said during this whole segment, having real conversations without judgment.
Yeah.
We both can be able to come together and heal with no judgment. Let it be a safe zone. Let it be a safe place where we can come together and listen to each other's trauma. Listen to each other's trauma. Respect their trauma and acknowledge their trauma.
Right.
Let them know, hey, I hear what you're saying. I understand it. And then growing together, growing and not apart. Growing together and not apart.
Wait a minute. That's good right there.
Yes.
That's good right there, because a lot of times, I'm gonna let you finish that, but I had to say something there. That is so good, because that's how they end up in my chair with couples therapy. Because when something has gone on or something has happened and they can't put a language to their emotions, then they tend to retreat, go in their corner, and then the woman's over here and they've gone apart instead of together at a time they need to come together. But that was, come on, bro, come on.
Well, you just said what I was gonna say, so that's you pretty much summed it up. Growing together and not apart, because if you look at it, if we're distant and we're getting away from each other, we can't come together and grow, because we're too busy being distant from you. I'm hiding what I've got going on. You're hiding what you got going on. Why can't we bring that together and say, hey, let's work this out. Let me hear your trauma and you hear mine. Let's figure this out together. Don't you know you can do more together than apart?
That's right.
You can do more. You can whip that thing together versus trying to handle it on your own.
That's good. That's good. Come on, husband. Come on, husband. That's good.
Okay, I'm done.
He didn't left a lot of meat on the bone for me, so now he got me thinking. I'll be real brief. So I appreciate it. I know I needed it. But just to echo what he said, it's kind of sound maybe redundant to really listen to one another, I would say.
Yeah.
With empathy and sympathy of what they're going through. And I would say we found space. We've done it, even through marriage counseling, and we felt it worked for us. We found space to intentionally take the time to see how we doing with each other. Once a week. It don't have to be no 2-3 hour thing. I don't know if I had that capacity, if she got that capacity. It can be 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. And I heard one guy say this, and I loved it. I think his name Coach Cannon. He said, I asked my wife something that she can help me improve on without me trying to manipulate her to say what I want her to say. And I can't judge the way she thought I should have handled something.
Right.
And vice versa.
Right.
So I would say intentionally come together, meet at a certain time to talk about these issues or whatever the situation is.
That's good.
Or not really issues, maybe just some things you got going on, and maybe once a week for 20, 30 minutes. Whatever that time period is, y'all agree on.
That's
it might
good.
be 5 hours for y'all. I don't know.
No, not 5. That's great. That's what I was going to say. Weekly check-ins. That's basically what you're talking about. Weekly check-ins. Like, you know what? It's good to do a heart check. It's okay to say, you know, how's your heart? You know, how's your heart this week? Not just how's work. You know, how was work today? You know, how's your heart? How you feeling today? You know, and give him that space, you know. Stop making people, as like we said, especially men, feel ashamed for expressing their feelings or their emotions, you know, and men, for the men, I want to say, practice naming your needs. Like, practice telling her what it is you need so that you can get what you need. You know, they have a saying, closed mouths don't get fed.
Mm-hmm.
I say this in relationships. How you gonna get mad about something you're not getting that you never expressed?
Right.
That's true.
So if you don't express it, you can't get mad when you don't get it.
That's right.
That's right. Amen.
You can't expect people to read your silence and interpret your pain. You've got to be able to say what is going on with you and what it is that you need. And if you feel like y'all can't talk with the other person interrupting, hey, get you a remote, get you something in your hand. And as long as the person has it in their hands, they should be the only one talking.
Okay, the remote. Okay, I like that.
And as long as you got it, you're the only one talking. And then when you're done talking, you can give it to the other one and or your spouse or whoever, and then they talk. But being able to put a name to it. And so, man, this is good, y'all. And one thing I do want to say, healing, you talked about healing, Terrell. Healing is mutual.
That's right.
You know, but it requires grace, and it requires time, it requires space on both sides. So men, women, let's just stop the emotional tug of war. And let's just start working for, you know, emotional unity. Like we can do this, like as my husband said earlier, we can do this thing together.
That's it.
And there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, our communication is trash. Let's go to a therapist and so we can have a mediator so that somebody can help us process this and communicate properly and effectively, because that's one of the number one reasons that relationships is poor communication.
Yeah.
You know, so that is so good, y'all. This has been a fruitful conversation. And so to every woman who's listening, including myself, be patient, don't push, and position yourself as a soft place for him to land. I cannot stress that enough. Position yourself as a soft place for him to land. And to every man who's listening, like, your silence, it doesn't have to be your sentence. You are not alone.
That's good.
You are not weak. And so this week I challenge the women. I even challenge you men to check in with your friends. Like, check in with the men in your life. Check in with your brother. Check in with your husband. Check in with your fathers. All these. So men and women alike, but check in with the men in your life. Don't wait for a breakdown to offer your presence. Don't wait till it's gotten to the point of that it's detrimental to offer your presence. And to my brothers, I want to say, like, speak, write, pray, cry. Don't stay silent, okay? Don't stay silent, because your healing matters. And so I want to thank you. I want to thank y'all. I want to thank my friend and my brother Darrius, and I want to thank you, say thank you to my sweetheart Terrell, and thank y'all for listening. And do y'all have any final words, guys? Y'all don't have anything?
Can you hear me?
All right. Y'all have said a lot, and you know what? We're gonna do this again. So, but I want to say to our listeners, yes, don't forget to share this episode. It might just open the door that someone's been afraid to walk through. And I want to say also, this is the day for the Empower Her experience. So we're at the Solid Rock House of Praise in Gilmer, Texas this evening at 7 p.m. And men, you are welcome. Men, you are welcome. There will be men in the house. Our guest speaker is Bishop Clinton Smith, and he has informed me that he is coming locked and loaded. So you definitely want to be in the place and get you a good seat. So this has been the Empower Experience podcast, and I'm your host, Christy Copeland. I want to say be well, love well, live free, and be amazing today. Thank you again, guys. We will see you all next Friday, 9 a.m. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you for having us on.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.